It is very, very profitable. Then someone will ask, why greenhouse production? Greenhouse production because it is precise. You are sure of what to get, and it's very risky. You can lose the whole cycle, and never fear to ask questions. There is something that may be working for you. We've been doing this for the past 4 years, but we change protocols here and there. Every day we change protocols. There are new ideas that come.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Today we are here to talk to one of the beneficiaries of Youth in Greenhouse Enterprise. We are going to talk more about how to do urban farming.
I'm Philip.
Okay.
At Idepa, a graduate and then a greenhouse farmer.
Okay.
So for short, that's whom I am.
What's the name of your farm?
My farm is Agrifil Limited.
How did this whole greenhouse journey for you started? What were you doing before? Can you walk us through?
Okay. It was when I finished my service at the school farm.
Okay.
We were serving at the school farm after the service because we made it a point that we are not going back to the village to join the cocoa farming because that's where we came from. And they expected us to bring something new to the house. So we decided to stay back the school farm and then help the school farm. So that was when the opportunity came that there was a greenhouse that needs to be installed on campus, and then some qualified personnel who have little knowledge about farming and vegetable production will be needed on board. So that is how come we were brought on board and then trained to be working in the greenhouse.
So you were a student?
Yes, I was a student of UCC, University of Cape Coast. I competed in the year 2018. Did my service 2018-19. So it was November 2019 that we went for the training for the greenhouse, and we came back in December during the COVID era.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for the past 4 years.
4 years?
Yes, please.
Okay. So walk me through how you got all this opportunity, because I know everybody get the money to.
Yes, I think what worked for me was my dedication during the time of service on the school farm. That was what worked for me.
Okay.
And then they saw that this was an opportunity for us to produce and then to also cut short the importation of vegetables from other neighboring countries. And then they saw our commitment during the service period. And then they saw that I am a potential person who could come onto the project and may not also lead to its failure. So that is how come we got on board.
Okay. So the first year, what did you do?
The first year I did cucumber.
Okay.
I did cucumber, and then I did cucumber the first year. And we had 8.4 tons.
8.4 tons.
Yes. Okay. The highest harvest across the country. I was the one who...
Across the whole country?
Across the whole country. The whole country, Ghana.
Okay.
It was from this particular tunnel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Under my supervision and then production.
Oh, okay.
8.4 tons.
Isn't you are a celebrity now?
Yeah, I'm a celebrity. I'm a farmer celebrity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So after that first year, what kept you doing it?
Okay, after that first year, we went on to produce tomatoes and then pepper. Okay. Yeah. And then the pepper, I traveled. Okay. I traveled, not outside the country, but I was engaged somewhere, and then someone took over. Okay. But I come in weekends to check up on whatever was going on. Okay. Yeah. So that in one way or the other, because the person wasn't trained, the person couldn't work to my level. Okay. So we had reduction in production. But since then, the progress has been there, and we've been working till now for the past 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. I understand this is more like a loan facility given to you people for a period of, what, 4 years?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes, to be paid in 3 years.
Have you also finished yours?
I'm almost done paying.
Okay.
I'm almost done paying.
Okay. I spoke to your colleague. He seems very happy about completing his own.
Yes. He's done. Because I had a problem, the wind removed the covering, that's the UV. Okay. The transparent rubber on top. And that delayed my harvest for like 7 months. Okay. Yeah. So that was one of the reasons why some got ahead of others. And then also it comes in with the crops that you produce. It is a cluster. We all can't say we are going to tomatoes the same time. So the one who finishes early takes up the next less available plants or produce on the site. So let's say if we don't have tomatoes, the one who finished the pepper cycle has to go through tomatoes. And then pepper must not follow cucumber because they are of the same family, affected by the same pest. Yes, and almost the same diseases as well. So once you have pepper, you have to break the cycle with tomato production. And then after tomato production, you come back to pepper. Tomatoes, cucumber, sorry. Cucumber, yeah. Sure.
Aside this, what do you do?
Okay, I'm engaged in some little businesses that takes me out of the town for a week or two. I have a farmhand who also takes care of everything when I'm not around.
Today, we want to understand the greenhouse farming and understand bell pepper production because I hear it is one of the most difficult and very lucrative crop to do. Can you introduce us to it?
Okay, the bell pepper is most difficult, but every difficulty, when you do it for some time, it becomes less difficult for you. But let me say it is very sensitive and very delicate. A little mistake can lead to a huge loss. That is why they say it is the most difficult. Unlike tomatoes and then cucumber. The little mistake you do in tomatoes or cucumber may not cost you much compared to bell pepper. Yeah. So this is Espartano. Espartano variety of the bell pepper. And then as we see, it is green. And then we say bell pepper is the original name. But mostly on the market, people say it is green pepper. Green pepper because it is mostly consumed green.
Here in Ghana?
Yes. It is mostly consumed green and then sent to the markets. And then when it comes to maturity, we have two types of maturity. Physiological maturity and then market maturity. Let's take, for example, coconut, which is generally known by everyone. If coconut is harvested fresh, it is market maturity. And when coconut dries and falls from the plant by itself, it is physiological maturity. Physiological because the plant has gone through its physiological processes and it has ended. Then the fruit falls when it is dry. So when it comes to we have these fruits. As you can see, it has started ripening. It is heading towards its physiological maturity stage. While this is matured, this fruit which is still green is also matured. And then how do you tell if the fruit is matured? You tell by pressing it. And if it becomes hard, sometimes the fruit will look like this, but it is still soft. That tells you the fruit, let me say, is a daddy bee fruit. So it is still big but not grown. But there are some fruits that are not daddy bee. So they look small but they are grown. Yeah. So sometimes that is how to tell whether the fruit is matured or not. And then this particular plant takes 6 weeks from nursery to start flowering and start giving you fruits. 6 weeks. That is a month and a half. 6 weeks. Yeah. So in the 8th week or in the 9th week, you should start harvesting. Yeah, you should start harvesting if everything goes on well. That is, all things being equal, if the environment is okay, the water requirement, the nutrient requirement, everything is on point. Yeah. And then my friend came to pass by using the water hose for the watering. We have the dripper lines. Every plant, this is 1 meter grow bag. And then we have 4 plants per grow bag. That is 25 centimeters from each other. And then we have this dripper line, which is 30 centimeters from every emitter. So we have 1 emitter here. The other emitter is also here. So this one goes to this plant, and this one also goes to this plant. But the other emitter is also found somewhere, which is a little away from the plant. So sometimes, in order to be sure that every plant receives the required amount of water and nutrients, sometimes we use the water hose to also supply the water.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have these dripper lines that also supplies water, and sometimes to it blocks.
Okay.
The fertilizers we use sometimes blocks the emitters.
Okay.
So it is necessary. You don't just assume that every plant is okay.
Okay.
So we take we take a decision ahead to supply the nutrients and then the water required by the plant.
Walk us through the protocol from nursery to maturity.
Okay. As I said earlier, it takes 6 weeks to start flowering. You have to get a medium that you want to use for the nursery. There are other people who are using other mediums for the nursery. But with this greenhouse, we use the cocoa pit as a medium for the nursery. And then with the cocoa pit, you have to flush it. You flush it with water, excess water, to make sure any other disease is reduced. And then also we add a fungicide for any fungal infection in the cocoa pit. And then we dry it. We dry it to the hot sun, and when it dries, then we wet it again. Because we dry it because water is a medium for growth, for bacteria and then fungal infections. So once we dry it, we break that cycle. And then once we have also added the fungicide, it also breaks that disease cycle. For a week, we dry it out for a week. Then we wet it again, then we nurse. Then we nurse by the trays. We nurse by the trays. We pick the pepper one after the other, create a little hole, and then drop it, and then we cover it. Yeah. And then we will water regularly. The cells, at every point, we have a cell where we have the plant that is planted. The seed is being nursed. We have a cell. That is called a cell. And then the whole thing is called a crate. So just like the egg crate, people use the egg crate for nursery, just like where we put each egg. That's the same crate. That's almost the same crate we also have here. It just look like that. Then we put the cocoa pit inside. We create a small hole, cover it, and then.
So after planting the seeds in the cocoa pit, what next?
We nurse the seeds, and then when it becomes, the seed becomes
how many days
a seedling.
How many days before they germinate?
They germinate after a week, 7 days.
7 days.
Yes. Sometimes the water is not enough. Sometimes the water becomes too much. So if the water is not enough, the seed coat takes time to break, and then that one will delay the germination. So on the same seed tree, you will see some plants emerging, and then others aren't emerging. Because maybe the conditions weren't similar. Yeah.
And what if there is too much water?
If there is too much water, there will be suffocation. There will not be air, because the seed you see is a living thing. And though you see it dry, but there is some amount of moisture in it that keeps the seed alive. That is why when it comes in contact with water, it starts to sprout and then germinate. Yeah. So
after seeing your germination, maybe after a week, as you said, what do you do?
After the second week, when you have all plants germinating, all seed germinating into a seedlings, then we start giving fertilizer. Then that fertilizer, the ratio mostly is 30-10-10 or 20-10-10. We increase the nitrogen because we want the plant to grow vegetatively. And then also in the second week, we reduce the water that we give to the seedling, so that in order not to increase any bacteria or fungal infection, because this bacteria or fungal infection do well in a moist environment. So it is better you water twice in a day than to water once, give enough water thinking you have watered once in a day. That is not advisable. And then we also spray insecticide, because during the nursery stage you could have some mites coming around, insects coming around, crickets. Because the stems are very succulent and soft, once you have any pest infestation there, it could destroy a lot.
So let me understand, how do you apply the fertilizer? Because at the seedling stage they are in trays.
Yes.
It's not also a foliar fertilizer. So how do you?
So we target the base,
Okay.
the root of the seedling.
Okay.
Then we drop the water from a can.
Okay.
Small.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes we get a vortic bottle, then we create a small hole on top of the cover.
Okay.
And then as we turn it over, we drop it small under it until the whole cell. So if you have like 1,000 plants, 2,000 plants, that is what to do in a day.
That's a whole work.
Yes, it's a whole work, but it is worth it also.
So you do that every day?
We do that every day, twice a day. Twice a day.
The NPK application, no?
Yes.
Wouldn't the chemicals be too much?
The chemicals is not too much because of the concentration that we have. So it is advisable that when you nurse your pepper seedlings within 4 weeks, which is 1 month, you should be preparing to transplant. All things being equal, if the plants are looking healthy, no infection, no diseases, you have to transplant. So the first week, which is the germination stage, that you only need water for the plants, for the seedlings to germinate. The fertilizer application, the pest, the fungicide application takes the remaining 3 weeks before transplanting. And then when you transplant, the same process also continues. Yeah, the same process continues. And then when you transplant, because the plants are smaller in sizes, just like we humans or babies at home or children at home, their food and water requirements is not as much as the elderly. So everything we give them is also small. And then the concentration of the fertilizer is also low in order not to end up burning the plant. So as the plant ages, you increase the concentration of the fertilizer. From the nursery stage before you transplant, 0.6 EC for the fertilizer is required.
What is the EC?
The electrical conductivity, the percentage of salts. Every fertilizer, when we dilute, we know fertilizers are salt. So when we dilute it, you check the EC using the EC meter. And then it should give you 0.6. That is during the nursery stage before transplanting. So once you transplant, you move to 0.8 and then 1.2 in the 3rd week of transplanting. It also depends on how well the plant is doing. If the plant is growing vigorously, you can as well increase the fertilizer concentration, which is the EC, the electrical conductivity.
Okay. So with this particular one that you are doing,
okay,
what was the EC you used?
The same EC we used.
Okay.
We use the same EC. Unless, of course, there is a little, we check the drainage EC. Then we have irrigation EC and then the drainage EC. The irrigation EC is what the water we are giving to the plant, the fertilizer we are giving to the plant that we have dissolved in the water. That is the irrigation. So we check the EC. And then once we give it to the plant, we have some little holes also under the grow bags of the growth medium. So the water that comes out from there, it is collected. And then we check the drainage EC. Yeah. So the drainage EC tells us what is going on in there, whether we have excess fertilizer in there or we have less. So if the drainage EC surpasses the irrigation EC, then we have to reduce the concentration of the EC of the irrigation we give to the plant. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you do that reduction?
Increase the water. Reduction is to increase water with the same volume of fertilizer.
Okay.
Or we decrease the volume of fertilizer to maintain the water volume.
Okay. So after that, what else?
Okay, after that you start doing your trellising, hanging the rope that supports the stem of the plant. That is the rope inside. That supports the stem of the plant.
Do you have a particular, I know there are indeterminate and determinate variety of this seed.
Yeah, that one it only works with tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
Yes.
But these ones, they are all general?
Yeah, this one is indeterminate.
Okay.
So as long as you take good care of the plant, it will give you the yield you want.
The pepper too, you do trellising for it?
Yeah, we do trellising.
This one?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
We do trellising for the pepper.
Why? Does it go to the roof?
It doesn't go to the roof, but sometimes you have a pepper like my height.
Okay.
Almost 2 meters. or sometimes 2 meters. And then because the stem is not that strong, it will fall. And then because this is high yielding varieties, this one is a hybrid variety that we bought. Because it's high yielding, it yields and then the fruit become very heavy. So it may try to lodge. So in order to prevent it from lodging, you have to support it with the twines. And then also because it's in the greenhouse, it is crowded. So we support it to maintain it in its space in order not to disturb the other plants around, and also to give space for work and then walking through.
So this particular variety, can it be grown in the open space?
Yes, it can be grown in the open space. But we have some special varieties that are made for the greenhouse. And then some that are also made for both greenhouse and then open field.
So what did you check out for this particular one before you got this one?
This one, the fruit sizes are big. And then it is also, it can be done outside. The Spectano can be done outside the greenhouse and then in the greenhouse. And then this one too, we have less disease infection. That is the fungal infection. Yes.
So after transplanting, you are giving fertilizer. Which type of fertilizer and what ratio and all that?
What goes on the nursery stage is what goes on after transplanting. Until we have fruits, we don't change the protocol. We only increase concentration. Until we start seeing fruits. So once the fruit comes in, then we have to also give calcium and potassium on the increase compared to the nitrogen side. Though the nitrogen is needed from there, but we have to also care for the fruit that is coming. Also make sure the fruits have a tough skin so that it will withstand any pressure. So as it grows, we manipulate the fertilizers in such a way that it will meet the plant requirement. And then calcium, we have this disease called blossom end rot that normally you see at the bottom of tomatoes. It becomes very dark. And then, so the solution for it is to increase the calcium concentration that you give to the plant. Or during the nursery stage, we don't normally give calcium. But once you transplant and there's fruits, you have to start giving calcium. Because if you don't give calcium, you end up exposing the plant to the fruit to blossom end rot. And you may end up losing money because that is money.
So let's talk more about the fertilization.
We have MAP.
You are using MAP?
Yeah, we have MAP. We have potassium nitrates. We have magnesium sulfates and then calcium. We also have other foliar fertilizers that we buy.
Those are the ones you are using?
Yes. Those are the ones we mix with water. That's through the irrigation. Those are the root fertilizers. Let me say root fertilizers. And then we have foliar fertilizers as well. And some of these root fertilizers are sometimes also sprayed in the morning as a foliar fertilizer.
The root ones?
Yes. So calcium, let's say I talk about tomatoes and then pepper where we have blossom end rot. So let's say we have preventive measures. You've not seen, but you foresee that it will come. So you start preventive measure by giving the calcium right away. But let's say the calcium you are giving is not enough, and then you start seeing blossom end rot. So once you are giving the calcium through the roots, you can also spray in the morning calcium. That is 75 grams per 15 liters. Then to the plants, either tomatoes or pepper, and it works. Because then you have seen a problem, and then you need to solve it within a week. So you go by the roots and then by the foliar. Within a week, you have to make sure you are
during your 4 years of doing these various what have you seen that it is a general problem, and what has been your secret to solving those problems?
One general problem I have seen is pest infestation. Pest infestation that normally attacks the green pepper, which is thrips, and then the cucumber. Tomatoes, we normally have white flies that normally comes, but that is not on the rise like the thrips. The thrips look very small, minute. But they are smaller than foodstuff. So if you don't go out scouting for thrips, you won't find them. Before you realize, you have started causing damages. And if they multiply, it's very difficult to eradicate them. So those are one of the challenges that we encountered. So the ways and means to prevent this, or how we manage that particular situation, is to spray insecticide. We have one particular insecticide that is very effective.
Which one works for you?
We have the neem oil extract. The neem oil extract is very bitter.
Okay.
So we spray it under the leaves, because the strips, you will not see them on top of the leaf, but they found themselves under the leaves.
Okay.
That is where you have to spray in the evening.
Okay.
When every work is done in the evening, when the sun is down around 5 o'clock in the evening, you spray that particular insecticide. And then away also works perfectly. Away insecticide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the two that work.
Those are the two that are active.
Okay.
And working particularly for the trips.
Oh, okay. Is the neem extract or neem oil extract? Is it expensive or you do it yourself?
We buy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we buy. It's not that expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about the away?
Away is also not expensive. Yeah. Away comes in 300 mils for 45 cedis. Okay. And then the neem extract comes in 1 liter for 100 cedis.
Are they preventive, or they are they the preventive one, or
they are the same preventive, and then they are also the same as eradicating. Okay. So when we talk about preventive, these are the pests that attacks pepper and then cucumber. Okay. So once you have planted and the plants are in the greenhouse, you don't wait to see pest infestation before you start doing spraying.
You already talked about that.
Yeah, so you have to do it. And when you see it, when you scout and you see pest infestation, that is when it is necessary for you to increase the concentration of these chemicals that you are using. Yes.
Like double it.
Yes, you can double it.
Okay. And it will not have any effect on the crop.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Aside that, which other peculiar challenges have you noticed?
Okay, right now,
particular to this one,
with the green pepper, the growth medium is now a little challenge, because when the growth medium was new, when we started with the first cycle, it was more porous.
Okay.
And then we have drainage water coming out on a regular basis. Okay. But now the medium has broken down into smaller sizes, increasing the water holding capacity. Okay. That has led to the rise in the water table of the medium. Therefore, the water or the irrigation water that we give to the plant still remains in the grow bag because it's unable to drain out. Okay. And that has also increased the infection of fungicide. Okay. And then bacteria infections. Yeah, those are the two problems. And then it leads to root rot. Root rot, especially in the green pepper. Tomatoes absorb enough water. Cucumber absorb enough water. So with excess or with a little much water than required, tomatoes won't give you much problem. Cucumber won't give you much problem. But with pepper, you have to be specific. If a little over the required amount leads to a problem.
What is the required amount?
Okay. The plant works such that during the sunny days, the plant absorbs much water because there is much transpiration going on. And then during the lower days, like when the crowd is on in a day, when the sun is not that up hot, the requirements must be less because the plant also transpire less water. Okay. Therefore, you have to give less water to the plant. So once it is giving out much, you give it much. Once it is giving out less, you give it less. So, but it is required that every plant that is doing well in an optimum environment should take 1.5 liters of water in a day.
Okay. Yeah. How do you remedy this root rot? Like, after now you have the infection.
Yes.
How are you controlling it? Is it something you can deal with?
Yeah, you can deal with it by studying your plant. Okay. You have to know how a healthy plant performs. And then when there is changes in the plant, one of the signs is once there is root rot, the roots are not much to absorb water. So during the sunny days, when you expect the plant to be looking nice, they look droopy. The leaves are not that erect, but they look droopy.
Yeah.
So you have to know it's one sign of not having a much water being absorbed. And then root is the medium through which water is being absorbed. So the unavailability of the roots in that larger quantity for the plant to support the leaf, that is how come you have that problem. So what you have to do is to reduce the water that you give to the plant, and then also enhance the roots formation. You have to spray more foliar fertilizers. You have enough leaves, and then it will enhance the root formation. And then less water in the medium also creates spaces for air for the root to also respire. Then once the roots respire, new root nodes are emerged. As they emerged, then we have new roots coming up.
So there's no need for you to uproot the infected this thing.
It's a fungal infection that can be controlled.
Okay.
So you have a fungicide that you can also spray or irrigate to the plant.
Which fungicide is that?
We have Mangozeb, which is what we use on the
size.
sites. Yes, we the farmer want the big size because that is what is good for the market.
Okay.
And that is what will give you much money.
Okay. What do you do to get that?
So that is why we give more nitrogen, 30-10-10.
Okay.
Like the ratio for. So as the plant starts flowering, you can reduce it to 20-10-10. And then also as well increase the, also comes in with calcium, where you have to also give calcium to the plant. Because once the fruit comes, you need to deal with blossom end rots. And then potassium is also needed.
What are some of the challenges that can happen when they start flowering?
When they start flowering?
Yeah.
Hot environments can lead to flower abortion.
Hey, but your tent inside is very, very hot.
It's very hot. It's very hot. Pepper is self-pollinated.
Okay.
Tomatoes is as well self-pollinated, but sometimes we initiate the pollination to make sure all the flowers that comes will be pollinated and will set and will be fertilized. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say self-pollination, you go around and you'll be pollinating it one.
Yes, we'll pollinate every flower, tomatoes particularly. We pollinate every flower.
Then it will be small job.
Yes, it is worth it. It is worth it.
Okay.
It is mostly done in the morning and then in the evening. Okay. Not advisable in the afternoon.
What are the chances that you can also suffer this dropping of flowers and stuff?
That is hot environment.
Hot environment.
Yes, especially tomatoes. Sometimes you pollinate and you don't get results because of the hot environment.
What about the pepper?
Pepper is self-pollination. We don't initiate pollination in pepper.
Okay.
The fruit comes by itself. So with that, we still have fruits that drop, flowers that drop.
Talking about the temperature. Can temperature make
it drop? It can. Yes, temperature can make it drop. Sometimes you see a plant standing with no fruit but no flower. It is a sign of maybe hot temperature, or it can be other factors, but hot temperature is a factor for not having good fruits.
How long after flowering before you see your fruit ready for market?
Okay, like a month. A month, yeah.
After flowering.
After flowering a month, you should be ready for a market. Yeah. Okay. And then maybe if you want to keep the fruit till it gets ripe, then you have to go beyond that, like a month or 3 weeks. Yeah, that would be 7 weeks. Yeah.
And how long do you harvest these peppers?
As long as you take care of you take good care of the plant, it should be giving you fruit until it reach a particular stage. So maximum 4 months harvesting period. So the nursery, the flowering, before the flowering stage, but once you start harvesting, you can harvest 4 to 5 months for the pepper. So the whole cycle can be like 6 months or maximum 7 months. Once you take good care of the pepper, you can harvest through this period.
But since you are on a timetable,
Okay.
How long would you leave it in the greenhouse?
Okay. This is business.
Okay.
So once what you are putting in and then what you are getting do not match your expectation, then you have to end the cycle.
Cut your losses.
Yes, you have to cut the losses. Yeah.
Okay. So so far I've seen that you have done some harvesting, even though you have some challenges with the crop.
Yeah.
Is it up to what you expect?
It's
What
not
have
up
you
to
gotten?
what we expect.
What have you
We have gotten like 500 kilos so far. We have gotten 500 kilos so far.
How many harvests?
Twice a week in 4 weeks.
Twice a week.
In 4 weeks. Yeah, so that's 8 harvests. Yeah, 8 harvests so far.
And you have done 4 kilos.
400 kilos. 400, 500. Yeah, 500.
Well,
500.
What are you expecting? How many kilos are you expecting?
I should be hitting 1 ton by this time.
1 ton.
Yes, but we have a little challenges with the roots, where we had some root rot as a result of excess water, fungal infection. So we are reviving from that particular break, and then the plants are getting back to its normal stage.
And you are sure you are going to hit that?
Yes, because we have spent some time of not making that much we needed. We don't expect to get the maximum yield we projected, but we should still make maximum profits or maximum harvest. Yeah, that is reasonable enough.
So far,
okay,
if we calculate the 400, how much is a ton now? How much is a kg now?
Depending on the markets, a kg should be selling 40 kilos with the green pepper, the one we sell green. But with the ripe ones, it sells in Accra 80 cedis. Some places you can buy it 70 cedis per kilo.
Your off-takers?
Our off-takers. Our off-takers take it at 70 cedis.
70 cedis.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the bigger size. That's the grade A. Yeah, 70 cedis per kilo.
Okay, so even the 400 kg was graded.
Yes.
They are all not grade A.
No, they are all not grade A. Most of them are grade B. Because of the problem we had. So we never had the plant to get the fruit to get to that big sizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And usually grade Bs are sold how much?
Grade Bs are sold 60 cedis.
60 cedis.
Yeah.
10 cedis short.
Yes.
So let's say we even sell everything for 60 cedis.
60 cedis.
If it is 1 ton, then you are looking at around 60 kilo.
Yes. If it's 1 ton, that will be 600,000. Yeah.
That's old currency.
Old currency.
Now
60,000. Yeah, 60,000.
You know, cassava growers, they don't get that on an acre or just this small piece of land.
Yeah, it's one food. It's one food that you can't do away with when it comes to stew and then anything, salad and other stuff. So it's very expensive. And then with the bell pepper too, most people are not aware of the ripe bell pepper or the green pepper because it is mostly taking green. We call it green pepper. So, but the ripe one is more nutritious than the green. So the ripe ones are more expensive than the green.
So you are doing the ripe one?
Yeah, I'm doing the ripe ones.
I told you that I got one ripe one for 20 cedis.
Yeah, 20 cedis in the markets. Okay. Yeah. And that is depending on the size. I think that is even cheap. Okay. The time you said you bought it. Now it should be expensive more than that.
So considering doing business in the open field, and the open field and greenhouse, what would you say? You have not done open field before.
I've done open field before. Okay. I've done open field. I have experience in open field before the greenhouse. Okay. But comparing open field and then the greenhouse, it comes with its own advantages and disadvantages. This greenhouse is expensive. Okay. So if you have the greenhouse, there will be no need to go back to open field. But if you are in the open field, don't be discouraged because you are there. Because you have not gotten the means to put up a greenhouse. So it is good, but it has its own advantages and disadvantages. One of the major reasons why the greenhouse has come is because it is all year round. Because we don't depend on rainwater. we do our irrigation, fertigation ourselves. Yeah, so we have a poly tank that keeps the water, and then we irrigate or fertigate anytime we want the plant to take in water. Unlike the open field, that mostly depends on rain-fed agriculture. Yeah.
The management routine here, are you able to combine them with other work?
Sometimes you are able to, but sometimes you are not, depending on the stage of the plant. When they are young, they need much attention. So we have something we call tender loving care, TLC. You have to love the plant. As they are young and tender, you have to love them. So you have to be regular on site, not to leave it the whole day without coming here. The next day you come and see something that will surprise you. Yeah, so it depends on the stage of the plant.
When we came, you were doing pruning.
Okay.
Let's go inside and see.
So this is a plant, and then if you look at the plant, we have two stems. This is the mother stem, and then we have another stem and then another stem. So at the initial stage you will see a fruit here. Every green pepper you will see a fruit for the initial stage, and that fruit is removed. It's removed because we want the plant to focus on growth vegetatively in terms of leaf and size. But once there is fruit on the plant channels its energy to the fruit than to the plant. And we all know you don't expect a slim lady to give, a slim parent to give birth to a fat looking baby. So we want to put the plant in that fat condition, that vegetative condition, before we expect the plant to also give us a big fruit. And then why do we do pruning? We do pruning because there may be some disease branches and then excess branches. So the more the fruits on a particular plant, the smaller the sizes. So in order to sell to the market with a higher price, with higher fruit sizes, we have to make sure we minimize the number of plants, the fruit on the plant. Then how do we minimize the fruit on the plant? We have to make sure we keep the two branch stem. And as we keep the two branch stem, as this stem has also branched, there will be another shoots, just like this, as you have seen. This is the main stem, and this is a branch stem. So this branch stem needs to be cut. And then this is another branch stem here that needs to be cut. And then if you look up here, there's, after this flower, there's this another branch stem that needs to be cut. So we maintain this one stem. If we don't take it out, as you can see, this one that was taken out, there is this flower that is coming up here. So if you don't take it out at this initial stage and you allow it to grow, it will give you fruits. And if you give you fruit before taking it out, it has taken most of your fertilizers or most of your water and nutrients before taking it out. So if you take it out, the plant then channels that particular energy into other parts that you have left on the plant.
When I came, I saw that you have cut a lot of fruit away.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah, we did that because the load on the plant is too much. For optimum size for the market, it's expected that a good looking plant should have a minimum of 6 fruits and a maximum of 12. And then some fruits aren't looking that nice. And then when you look at it, they won't be big because they look very hard as it is young, as it is smaller, meaning it is almost matured, but it is still hard. So we take those ones out, and then we leave the ones that are much looking better for the market, and then for them to also increase in size.
So looking at this one, which one will you cut away?
This fruit.
Which one will you?
So this particular plant, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
And then 9 fruits. 10.
Okay.
10 fruits on there. So it is okay.
Okay.
But sometimes you can visit the plant and then the plant's condition is not that good. So you have to look at the fruits that you have.
Okay.
It is not advisable to leave the fruit for it to get to this stage before you take it out.
Okay.
But it is also good that when you come and see a deformed fruit that won't sell at the market, at the initial stage upon seeing it, you have to take it out.
Okay.
It is advisable that way.
All this are going to the bin.
Yes.
I mean, you can chop this.
Yeah, it can be taken home, but not to the market.
Oh, okay.
It can be taken home, but not to the market. Yeah.
Okay. So talking about the disease, so this one is suffering from root rot.
Yes, root rot. So as you can see, the root is supposed to be whitish in color, but as you can see, it is brownish and dark.
Okay.
Meaning these roots are rot. It's rot. So you can see the plant is suffering. So as it is this way, there are still some water that is being taken, but because it is shining, the transpiration is higher than the absorption. Therefore, the droopy of the leaves.
Okay.
But during the morning, they look very fresh and nice because overnight it has absorbed water, but there was no transpiration. So that water that was in the plant through the overnight has made it look nice in the morning. Okay. But once it is shining and there's transpiration, more water leaves the plant.
Once you have removed it like this, it will still survive?
No, this one is spoiled.
Oh, okay.
It won't survive.
Okay.
It won't survive.
So when will you harvest again?
Yesterday we did harvesting.
Okay.
We did harvesting, and then we are expected to harvest next week.
Next week.
Next week, Monday again.
Looking at this is green pepper production. I mean, we've done the calculation, but is it profitable?
It is a profitable venture. It is very, very profitable. Then someone will ask, why greenhouse production? Greenhouse production because it is precise. You are sure of what to get. Unlike the open field, where one mistake can lead to a lot of damages. One shot of rain within a week, when you don't have rain within a week, you can lose all your plants. But with the greenhouse, you supply your own water. So you have a reservoir that keeps the water that you supply to the plants on a regular basis. So you are sure of the water that you are supplying. And then because we have the net around the plants, you also manage diseases and you are also able to manage pests.
Early in the morning, I saw you putting some chemicals in some barrel.
Yes.
What chemicals? Can you take us through some of the major chemicals you use here, or the major nutrients you use here?
Okay, the major nutrients we use: potassium nitrates, calcium.
You can pick them.
The first one we have is polyfeed.
Okay.
And then, as you can see, it's polyfeed 1 kg. Water soluble fertilizer 19-19-19. That means the NPK concentration percentage is 19-19-19. So it is equal. So with this one like this, it is good for fruiting plants or plants that are at the harvesting stage. Okay. So you meet all the requirements at the same way. Okay. And then
during nursery too.
During nursery too, you can use it, but we need more of nitrogen at the nursery stage, because the PK wouldn't be needed so much. Okay. And then we have another polyfeed, which is 30-10-10. Okay. So this is more recommended during the nursery stage compared to the other one. And then we have top sets. It's a fungicide. Okay. And then these fungicides we spray, and then sometimes we use it as drenching. The drenching is we mix with water and then fertigate to the plant, so it goes to the roots. It goes to the root and then the medium of the plant. Okay. And then in the evening too, this fungicide spraying is done in the evening when the environment is cold. Then you do the spraying so that the fungicide will stay on the plant till the next day. This one is also a harvest more. This one is also a nitrogen based fertilizer. It's 30-10-10. So this one and this one almost do the same work. Yeah. What we have here is K Optima, an insecticide. An insecticide that we spray is all round insecticide. So anything insects on the plants, this one also helps in controlling. And what we do in the greenhouse is we do preventive measures. We take out preventive until we see a pest or an insect. We don't increase the concentration, but normally we have 25 mils or 20 mils to 15 liters. Until we see pest, then we increase to 30 mils or 35 mils. Yeah.
This one here, Boost Extra.
Okay, we have Boost Extra. This Boost Extra contains 20% nitrogen, 20% potassium, 20% calcium. And then this one also is good for plants that are at the harvesting stage. So you try to increase the foliar, the leaves, the vegetative growth. It also works on the fruits and also work on the plant as well. So you meet all the requirements halfway. Yeah. What we have here is a pump that we use for mixing we use in supplying the nutrients to the plants. This same pump is used for mixing, and then we use it for agitation. This particular pipe you see here, this is where the water is collected from, comes through the pump, then is pumped through this side. This side is blocked, then the water passes through here back to the same tank that is coming from. So when you mix a fertilizer, you have to agitate so that the fertilizer mix properly. So after the fertilizer mix properly, you close this side and then you open this side. So once you open this side, the water then starts going to the plant and it passes through this pipe. And then this pipe also have dripper lines that is being joined to the pipe. And then through these dripper lines, we have emitters. So we have emitters that releases water to the plant's roots, and then it takes it up. Normally, with pepper, in the morning, you can do an irrigation for 3 minutes. In the morning, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you do irrigation. When it is 12, you can do irrigation. 1 o'clock, you do irrigation. 2 o'clock, you do irrigation. Why 12, 1, 2? Those are the times that you have the sun up and it's very hot. So transpiration is very high. Therefore, irrigation too must be regular. Then around 3:30, you can do your last irrigation or fertigation. Then you can end for the day. So maximum 5 times in a day. Yeah.
3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes.
It depends on then the water requirement, because the pump supplies a volume of water within a minute. So that volume of water cannot be altered. Therefore, you have to reduce the minutes you give to the pump to supply the plants the required nutrients you want.
So it's more like the work has been made easy for you, or is
yes.
So difficult?
With the fertigation and the irrigation, it has been made easy with the pump, using the pump. Yeah, but there are some work you have to still go around to do it, because there's no robot to do it for you. Yeah, sure.
I think your farm looks very impressive.
Yeah, sure. We have little challenges here, but it is reviving from its shock, and then the next 1 month I want you to come back and you'll see the plant doing better than this. Yeah.
If maybe someone wants to consult you on such a project, do you do consultation?
Yeah, we do consultation. We do consultation.
Yeah. Can you put your number out there?
Okay, my number is 0241 508919.
your consultation, are they free or you charge?
We charge. Okay. Sometimes it depends on where we are coming, what actually you need, the services you need us to provide. That is based on that we charge. We don't do free consultation because the population is increasing. Lands are being sold out for estate development. So you ask yourself, where do this increased population fit the next few years ahead? Greenhouse is made in a way that these plants, if it's in a normal open field, the planting distance should be wider than this because it will spread. Sometimes it will fall, especially tomatoes. It will spread an area. But because of this twine, we have supported it to climb up vertically. So greenhouse has made this in such a way that we can have a small area with huge population of plants that we can still grow effectively, unlike the open field. So we don't have land for farming, but a small space such as greenhouse can be used for farming, and we can still meet the demand of the population. It's profitable.
Oh, you can talk. It will come inside. The microphone is...
Okay, it's very, very profitable. Someone will ask, if I have money and I want to go into greenhouse production, is it okay? Yes, it is a good venture, it is a good business. Sometimes we value, I'm not downplaying anyone's profession, I'm not looking down on anyone's profession. But I ask myself, this debate we used to have in school, a doctor and a farmer, who is more important? I think any teacher who goes to the classroom to ask a doctor and a farmer who is more important should be arrested. Because he doesn't know why he has to ask that question. How many times do we eat in a day? We eat 3 times in a day. Minimum 1.
Okay.
Everybody eats in a day. And then sometimes I ask, how many times have you been to the hospital in a day? Then someone will say, I don't remember the last time I went to the hospital. Someone will say 8 years, I've not been to the hospital. So my question is, you eat 3 times in a day, more than 1,000 times in a year. And even in a year, you don't go to the hospital. You still see a doctor and a farmer comparing. No, it is not good. So we are the real doctors and we are the farmers. So there is a saying that if you take your food like medicine, you are okay. But if you don't take your food like medicine, you will fall sick and you will take medicine like food. Okay. Because food needs to be taken on regular basis. That's why we eat 3 times a day. Yeah. And the doctor will tell you, eat before you take your medicine. That tells you how much food is important.
So indirectly, you are telling them to go and farm.
I'm not saying they should go and farm. But if they can survive 3 days without food, then they should think about their profession again. Farming is very good. Farming is very good.
Your final words.
Agric needs attention. Any farmer, and it's very risky. You can lose a plant, you can lose a whole cycle. And then that is the fear people had and people are still having. That's why they are unable to venture into agric business. But I will tell you, if you know what, before you enter into any business, try to ask questions. Ask questions, and then ask again. With that, you come out to some conclusions, and then you know whatever you are going to, you have a fair idea. And never fear to ask questions. There is something that may be working for you. We've been doing this for the past 4 years, but we change protocols here and there. Every day we change protocols. There are new ideas that come. As we go, there are new problems and then there are new solutions. So anyone who is out there who wants to go into farming, it is good. I have a lot of friends who did economics business in school. They will come to me, Philip, I want to do agric. It looks like agric is the only venture you need no knowledge to enter, but you need maximum knowledge. Yes, because the economic student who has completed university cannot go and open an economic firm to start his economic consultation or business. But I will say, I want to enter into agric to do something small for myself. One time I asked a friend, accounting students, after I've harvested my yam and I was going home, I told him that now this is the outcome of what I came to the school to learn. I've gotten a yam I'm going to sell. And then I asked him to give me a balance sheet, and he was asking me to go and sell before he knows the price to give me the profit and then loss and whatever balancing. So you have to know everything is agric. Yeah, everything is agric.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you on social media?
I'm on social media, Philip Atidapo on Facebook. Yeah, Facebook, Philip Atidapo. Yeah.
Okay. About TikTok?
TikTok, I'm there. The same Philip Atidapo.
The problem I have with you people is you don't share your work. You don't have social media handles.
That's the problem. But in this 21st century,
come online.
Oh, come online. In this 21st century, we'll come online.
Come online. Did we talk about challenges in pepper production?
Yes, we did talk about pest infestation, diseases.
Okay.
Infestation, yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having time to talk to us.
Okay.